So, so he was in trouble with the law. He did get in trouble with the law before. Mr. Greenberg is always like, oh, he's never been in trouble with the law before. Blah, blah, blah. He's never been convicted. Okay, he's never been convicted. But he has been in trouble with the law before. And here's another incident where it says in 1996, him and his entourage got into some brawl, beat some guy up, gave him 110 stitches, and then R. Kelly decided to settle out of court so that he wouldn't sue him. He could have sued him for more money, But I noticed this is a pattern with R. Kelly. He settles out of court for $250,000 every time. He's like, here, look, $250,000, $250,000, $250,000. That's like 250, 250, 250, 250. 4 people he pays off. That's $1 million for 4 people. And I believe he's paid off like 12. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's around that number. And so you figure 250, and you have 4. That's $1 million. So 4 more makes $2 million. So that's a total of 8 people. And then you have this other guy. So you figure 8 females and 1 other man. That's $2,250,000 in lawsuits, settlements that he's paid out of pocket throughout the years. Then, in 1998, Kelly was arrested on 3 misdemeanors for disorderly conduct in Chicago, including violating a noise ordinance, and prosecutors eventually dropped all the charges. See, so he got in trouble again and was arrested for misdemeanor charges, but then they dropped the charges because it was misdemeanor bullshit, noise complaint, Then in 2001, Tracy Sampson, an intern at Epic Records, which is one of his record companies, record labels, she sued Kelly, claiming she was involved in an abusive sexual relationship with him when she was 17. So she told the New York Post that he often tried to control every aspect of her life, like what she can eat, what she could do, what she could wear, where she could go, who she could be with, who she could call, social media, not social media. Like, he tried to control every aspect. And I noticed that with the document series too, according to, as well as, shall I say, other articles and interviews that I've seen. This guy has a pattern. This is all a pattern. He does this, and he has it as a habit, and he knows what he's doing because he's mastered his art. He's mastered his art in manipulating and being a narcissist. So he's very charming, very crafty at what he does. He knows what he's doing. Just because he can't read and write doesn't mean he's not intellectually smart. Because he can be very intellectual and act like he's very intelligent and he's got a good education, and then the case was eventually settled out of court for an undisclosed amount. So she's not saying how much she got paid either, but I'm pretty sure it was about maybe $250,000. I'm pretty sure. Then that same year, which was in 2001, R. Kelly paid a settlement to Geronda Pace. Which a Chicago woman who claimed she was 16 when the Trapped in the Closet singer abused her, both physically and emotionally. She later admitted she accepted a cash settlement from him for an undisclosed amount. And that was in 2001. How can that be? This article must be wrong. Because his trial was she says she met him at the trial, and his trial started in 2002. So, but it says here that he paid her a settlement in 2001. So I think that's incorrect. I don't think that's correct. Like she said, so she settled out of court for an undisclosed amount. And I'm pretty sure it was $250,000. Another one for $250,000. I'm pretty sure. And then it says that Kelly was sued again in 2002 by Patrice Jones, a Chicago woman who claimed she became pregnant by Kelly while she was underage, and that he forced her to have an abortion. And he settled this case out of court after paying an undisclosed amount. So, we already have Geronda Pace, Patrice Jones, Tiffany Hawkins, and Aaliyah were his girls in that point in time. And like I said, in 2002, Patrice Jones claimed that she became pregnant, and he settled out of court with her. And, you know, if this man is not guilty, like, if this man is not guilty of any of these things, why? And I'm going to ask this again. If this man isn't guilty of any of these accusations, then why would he pay these people off to be quiet? Why? I don't understand that. That's just like Michael Jackson. If he was not guilty, why would he pay settlements out of court to make it go away? No. Now he's admitting his guilt. You say you're innocent, but you're paying off these settlements and you're admitting guilt. That's how I see it. You're admitting guilt. If you pay off these settlements, you're admitting guilt. Because no person in their right mind would sit there and say, okay, well, you accuse me of this. It's okay, though. I'll get over it. You'll get over it. Take this money and run with it. Who does that? A guilty person. If I'm innocent, I'm going to fight all the way. I'm going to fight, and I'm going to fight with tooth and nail. Tooth and nail to prove my innocence. That's what I would do. And that's what I would think anyone in their right mind who has common sense would do. Fight for their right. Not just sign it off. Then there was another young lady, also in 2002. Her name is Montina Woods. And she sued Kelly in 2002 after alleging that he filmed them having sex without her consent and without her knowledge. And the bootleg recording was eventually sold as R. Kelly Triple X. And he settled the case out of court after paying an undisclosed amount. There we go. Another $250,000, I bet. Another $250,000, I bet. First of all, you're a man messing around with underage girls, producing porn, because that's what you do when you videotape these things. You're making porn. You're making a sex tape known as pornography. When you add a child in there with a grown-ass man or woman, if it's vice versa, yeah, you're producing child pornography. You're a dirty person. That's what you're doing. Excuse me. Unless you're two consenting adults and you're just making porn, then it is what it is, because you're two consenting adults. And when I mean by adults, I mean a woman over the age of 21. A woman. Because even a girl at 21 years old, she's still immature. She's just like her, what do you call that? Your soft spot in your head is like closed. It's sealed. You don't have no soft spot anymore. Your brain is a lot different when you're above the age of 21. Your maturity level changes, If you're 21, if you're 20, if you're 19, if you're 18, for me, you're still a little girl. You're still a kid. You still are wet behind the ears. You still don't know how to wipe your butt right. You know what I mean? Like, I know how I was at 21. I thought I was it, and I knew what I was talking about, and I knew I was this, and I was a woman already, and can't nobody tell me nothing. Well, let me just let you know. I was naive and immature. Still at that age, I was. And whether you're an adult or an underage girl, a predator is a predator. It doesn't matter if you're underage or you're an adult. We have to look out for the warning signs. We don't know the warning signs if we've never ever been in a situation or knew of someone who was in a situation where we learned from their experience to be aware of these predators and how they behave. So it's hard. It's hard, and it's a shame that these women get shamed and by the public, by the people. It's not their fault. Us women, women are naive. We have big hearts. We're nurturers. We have compassion. We have empathy. We're very motherly. So if a man is playing us, with his violin, and we're sitting there and soaking it all up, and we're feeling sorry for him, or comparing notes and say, well, I was in this situation too. We have a lot in common. That's how predators are. That's how they get you. They get to know what your fears are, and run with that. And they also like to take advantage of women who have big hearts and don't know no better, especially a young girl. Like, she don't know no better. And that's exactly what R. Kelly did. Took advantage of those girls. So the next one we're talking about is where his wife comes in. His ex-wife, Andrea Kelly. And she's his ex-wife now and the mother of his 3 children. And she filed a restraining order against him in 2005 after what she described.